Welcome along to Bangkok ChitChat with Andrew and Andy. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
And how are you guys? I hope you've all had a pleasant week in that. I'm sort of still getting over Songkran. You're still getting over... You're going to do a special on Tibet.
Yes, we're going to do a special on my trip to Tibet, basically suggesting how you can, all the arrangements you have to make and the experience
and focused
you
on
go through,
from here, like how do you get from here to there?
Yeah, starting from Bangkok and all the flights you have to do, what the arrangements are. There's some tricky bits you have to be aware of. But anyway, just also my experience, or as we said, our experience.
Well, yeah, all
shall be. It's my other hour.
You think I'm going to go up a mountain with him? You've got to be kidding me. So, yes, that's coming up next week.
Yep.
And while we're talking about shows, there's a couple of shows that have gone out. Simon was last week, right?
That was very, very interesting.
Yeah, he's a good guy, isn't he?
Fascinating.
Personality.
Lovely braces.
Yes. Yeah. I think he likes to socialise.
Yes, he's I knew him many years ago. He was.
I didn't know that.
A bit of a social animal, but he's run Manpower Group. We talked about recruitment and not in a heavy way, in a light way. Some tips and tricks from the employer's point of view, but also from the recruiter's point, the
employers
and the candidate's point of view. Yeah. So I found it very interesting. It was nice and light. Yeah, a bit of crack. Simon was a lovely guy, professionally, socially, and just generally very friendly.
So if you haven't seen it yet, it's there.
Have a look at it.
It's there. And before that was the Reverend Tim Eady.
That was fascinating.
I know. He's quiet man, but very articulate, and he had a sense of humour.
Yes.
And he was very, I think, not proud in a bad sense, but he was very happy with Christchurch and his Sundays. I think Sundays were his biggest day, wasn't it?
What I found most fascinating about it was I had some questions myself, how he saw God and things like that, and what is God, and how that relates to different
religions.
Well.
Yeah. Yes,
In many ways, it sort of answered the questions that you wouldn't normally ask.
Well, you don't often find yourself in a closed room with a reverend.
Well, you could be called a racist or an anti-Semite or something else. So, I mean, it was nice from his point of view to explain. He was saying about Christianity and different churches, and he said, "Well, actually, it's just a name."
I know, and he didn't preach either, did he?
He didn't.
Which I thought maybe someone in that position may try and get a point.
And he didn't come on with a collar, which is,
no, he
which
didn't.
is
No.
also
I
good.
think there was, I know. Yeah, it would look good on the thumbnail. I'd like a whole mitre on the thumbnail, like we're doing the Pope.
Or like the Tibetans do with a big hat like this.
All right, so those are a couple of things to watch out for if you miss them. In the news this week, hospitals have been getting, a bad rap. More than half the private hospitals that operate in Thailand are overcharging for medical services and prescription drugs. Of the private hospitals alleged to be overcharging, the rates are being calculated to be 30 to 300% higher than actual production costs. So they're markup from 30 to 300. The Director General of the Internal Trade Department claims that 295 of the 353 private hospitals here in Thailand have submitted their production costs and charges for medicines and services to this working group they've set up. 58 hospitals still yet to do it. They haven't named them. But I'd like to name it. Don't go to them then, because why aren't they not doing it? Because they probably overcharged by the 300%. I don't know. The Director General says that the panel studied the production costs of 10,146 items covering medicines, medical supplies, and medical services, and compares them with appropriate cost structures available from a variety of sources, like the importers, wholesalers, big drugstores. So they're looking at the whole thing, and they're basically saying over 50% of these hospitals are charging between 30 and 300% over what they should do.
Services and the drugs.
Yes, and that is like over. I would say they even have made a percentage for their income so that they can create a salary. That's over and above their dead, their bottom line.
Right, yeah.
So, I mean, you talk to anybody here in Thailand, I guess in the world maybe as well, but they've all got stories about hospitals.
Yeah.
But I never really, insurance-wise, right, because in England you've got the government
NHS, yeah.
NHS. Here, there is a Thai, but you have to be Thai for a start to get this free service.
Yes, that's right.
Right,
It's
so
under your social insurance, but that's if you're working. But also you got the 30 baht scheme for people.
Is that still
farmers
going, the 30 baht
Yeah,
scheme?
there's still a scheme for farmers, etc. So they get that. But there's a limit to everything. Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, I have to say, when I go to these hospitals, over 30 years, I'm going to give us some examples. It looks like I'm in hospital all the time. No, but now I've got to say this carefully and correctly. I find a lot of the people there, considering this hospital is very expensive, look like that they can't afford it. They look like a lot of sort of working class people that, they're from up country or so. Someone said, oh, well, they're the nouveau rich. They are from up country, but they are now earning good money.
Oh, they've sold land or whatever.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people there, you know what I mean? And a lot of middle class. So I'm wondering, are they got private health insurance like myself? Or?
Some companies give private health to their staff, but I think certainly for the middle classes, I think people will have the Thai insurance. They won't have maybe what we get as a foreigner, because when we are looking for our insurance, we are looking at coverage for maybe the region, because we're travelling around the region, whereas maybe Thai will look at some of the local companies for coverage in Thailand, or limited coverage overseas. Yeah. So there's different policies, but like everything, every policy, you get what you pay for.
Well, I mean, the problem is, if you're a foreigner here and you're not insured, then, I mean, we're going to look at government hospitals as well and compare, but I'm talking at the moment private.
Yeah.
Like your Bangkok Rad, Samiti Ways, Vipawati or whatever. And they're expensive.
Yes.
I mean, you go in there with a bit of a cold, you're going to come away with about 10 bags of medicines.
Well, I think
they give away medicines like Smarties.
It's just my differentiation between services and drugs, yeah. Because with services, you can understand that if you, like we were discussing off camera, you need a brain surgeon. You probably aren't going to go to the government hospital. Yeah? You're going to go to a specialist, and you're going to have to pay for that. Yeah? But when it comes to the drugs, things like you got a cold, flu, dengue, something like that, which is, they're sort of semi-serious, but they're not like cancer, potentially terminal.
No, they're not tertiary.
Okay.
It's a new word here.
Is it?
Tertiary.
Tertiary, okay.
Which means needs speciality care.
Right, okay. So you're going to pay for that. But you mentioned about the UK. Even the UK with the NHS, and I'm sure in other countries which have a similar system, people are also going to private because it's taking so long to get an operation or whatever it is.
Well,
so they pay that
for
that
chemo
premium.
and all that.
Same with dentistry, as well. But there's 30 to 300%. You see drugs. I've been, you get paracetamol and it's costing you probably 10 times what it's going to cost.
Have you been given paracetamol at a hospital?
Yes.
And so I have. And now I'm wise enough to say to the doctor when he's writing out his prescription, don't give me paracetamol.
No one forces you to take that.
No, and they do get it. They go, okay. You know what I mean? Because they know, this guy's on, his insurance. But it doesn't really matter if you're insured. I mean, I've got an example here. All right. We'll do this bit now. There's other ones. But so I fell off a balcony. Just leave it there. No funny comments, please. And I broke my...
No, that's enough. It wasn't a high balcony. Yeah.
Well, it bloody broke my left foot. And I sprained my ankle in about 25,000.
It's a 30-story balcony. You wouldn't even have that.
Yeah, I fell off a step. And my ankle was sprained as well. So I was completely legless. Not for the first time in my life. So I go down there. How I did it is a story in itself for another day. But anyway, we get there, and everything's perfect. I mean, emergency thing, and I'm brought on. I'm shouting, morphine! I need morphine! I could see my foot going up like this. So anyway, they gave me morphine or what, I guess, and some injections. And they put the cast on. One of these funky ones, camouflage ones. I thought, oh, there we go. And whatever. Don't forget I'm insured. All right, so then they wrap this one up. But it's fun. They give me a Zimmer frame to get home on. Well, I don't want to get up, but we know what a Zimmer frame is. You need at least 1 foot working for a Zimmer frame. This, crutches, you could do a sort of a quick balancing act. But money's no object when they know you're insured.
Yeah.
So, no. Wheelchair? No. Which would have been perfect, because then I could have had that in the house instead
So what they did, they probably took to the wheelchair to the doors and then kicked
Oh yeah, and then they go, there's the Zimmer, and the Zimmer frame, honestly, the Zimmer frame, I could just stay still on it. Well, this gets worse. So they gave me crutches, walking stick, telescopic one, lovely, and everything else.
You're not supposed to return them, though. Yeah.
No, this is mine. Well, the bill, hang on. No,
okay.
absolutely. The bill came to about 50 grand, which actually is not bad in today's rip-offsville that these hospitals are doing. But during the evening, my little toes from the cast started to get really big and blue and green. And I go, this can't be right. They were just swelling up. So the next morning I went there and they go, oh yeah, put it on wrong. So they cut the whole thing off. There's no blood getting to my feet.
Oh my.
Which could have ended up with losing something. Yeah. So, and the way they admitted it was put on wrong. I said, hello, you put it on. So off it comes, and they just put loose, which actually suited me, because I'm not going to be walking around a lot for 3 months, obviously. So, and I just had loose bandaging over everything, and that was it, really. But they put it on wrong, and this is supposed to be their charge. I think actually the total bill is 65,000.
So they charge you again for the...
We've had paracetamol, a few paracetamol, and a few heavy-duty painkillers, and that was about it, because there's not much you can do. Now, it hasn't set properly. I won't show it now, but there's a lump on my foot. Right. So these shoes, I need a size 9 on my left and a size 8 on my right. So they messed it up.
You imagine all these shoe shops. Oh, we have a spare couple of shoes here.
Well, listen, we can do it, but the shoes don't match. You can have a boot on one and a trainer on the other one. So anyway, that was just one example of, I think, dodgy medical care, because they should have known how to put a cast on, not too tight. Although I guess mistakes are going to be made. You just hope in the medical field the mistakes aren't going to be made on you.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
But that's it. But the money, 65 grand. But it was all have that. You know. Because they knew I wasn't paying, not that they would have made it cheaper, even if I was paying.
Yes, yes.
So when I go there now for colds or something like that, I am very aware of, I tell the guy straight away, I don't want bags of drugs, which they do. They give you come out, they give them away like Smarties. I think that's the side I don't like either. So maybe some medical misdirection. I mean, these weren't top doctors, they were orderlies, I guess, or something in
general
emergency.
practitioner,
Yeah, but there was a doctor there when he was putting the thing on. Well, all right, I've got other examples, but let's move on. You've noted some stuff there. Did you want to bring that in now, or?
Well, I mean, this has obviously been quite hotly debated, and people are saying, "Oh, it's a foreigner that's got overcharged," but it's actually not. Yeah, but well, maybe it is. Yeah, because there is a culture of double pricing. And Thailand is
You mean for
pushing
Falang?
for. Yeah. I think there is that. There was an example of a friend who got dengue fever, and he went to the hospital, private hospital, and they said, "Oh, right, you have to come in," and they're rushing him because he's in pain, he's sick, he just wants to get in the hospital, basically get better, and so you got to stay in, and they added it up, 22,000 baht a night. Now this is not any of the big names, by the way. 22,000 baht a night, and he knew he was going to be there for 3 nights. He went, He says, this is ridiculous. But it was all in Thai, yeah? All the contracts were in Thai. So he couldn't read it. His partner couldn't read it. So he eventually lost his temper. He said, this is enough. He was stressed out.
Did they think his insurance were going to pay for this?
No, he had no insurance.
They knew that?
Yes.
And they still wanted to stick him for 22 grand a night for 3 nights?
Yeah, and that was what they knew of at that time. So you didn't know what the bill was going to be, because they don't itemise in advance because they're going to find certain things out. But it was dengue fever he had, yeah? So obviously they have to test to find that out. Yeah. So he ended up going to Chameleon in Tong Lo. He went in there, and
there's a song about them.
Yeah, come on. Anyway, so he went in there and he saw the doctor and he said, do I have to stay in the hospital? He went, no, go home. And here's this, you've got dengue fever, here's the drugs. So he actually recovered at home.
Yeah. So the 22 grand was, you see, the hospitals always fall on this one. We're taking the best care of you possible. And probably the best care ever possible would be for him to stay in the hospital, surrounded by doctors and nurses and everything else. But they seem to use that as, well, we only do the best for you. No, are there some cheaper alternatives that will still work?
I want you to, right, ask a question. Did you ever get measles?
Yeah, when I was a kid. Yeah.
Right, or mumps or anything like that. Yeah. Did you stay in the hospital?
No.
Right, but there's a thing there with some relatives of mine. When they're sick, the kids are sick, they're immediately taken into hospital, and they're staying overnight.
This is where?
This is here.
Yeah, well, it's a thing here, isn't it?
And I don't
in England, you go and see the general protection.
You take care of your kid at home, and is this okay? If they're very young, I get it, because of high risk. But as they're getting a bit older, no, you put them to bed, you take care of them, take temperature.
Well, of course, fever, and you keep an eye on them. But because in England the structure's different, because you have your GP, right, who's really a jack of all trades, master of none. Let's face it, but he's a good guy. But he'll say, go to the chemist, get that, and take it home. Whereas here, when you go and see a doctor, which is a GP, a lot of the time you're surrounded in a hospital. It's very easy for other people in the hospital to jump on the bandwagon. And I mean, I've got an example here, where I went in I had stomach pains, all right, and they were getting on and I was a bit annoyed about them every morning, feeling a bit nauseous and that. So I went to the hospital, went in, see this guy, stomach guy, and the first thing he said was, "Oh, first of all, you probably may have cancer." First thing he said, opened his mouth.
Wow.
Cancer. And I swear, that's what he said. He said, "Right, what we need now is an endoscopy," whatever that thing is, they shove up your ass, the camera thing, right, and then down your throat as well, and wherever the ends may meet, And I was reckoning, well, I was halfway out the door. I called him, I won't say what I called him, and I slammed the door. He was a young guy as well. Bedside manner, none. "Oh, you may have cancer," was his exact words. "You may have cancer." First words. To scare me into doing all this, which would have cost 65 grand.
Which
I
is
looked
cheap
at it
now.
later. Well, this is a while back, So anyway, I told the nurse at the station that I want to see another doctor. And next door this was. And there was a lady doctor. Oh, she's an angel. She was lovely. I opened the door and I told her what happened next door. And she said, "Well, I can't say anything, obviously.
Yes,
I'm not the doctor." But I got the idea. She understood and agreed with me. So she did all this business and and put me on some antibiotics and that. 2 weeks later, had to come back. Still had it. And this went on for weeks.
Yeah.
And I kept on going, "Are you sure I haven't got cancer?" "Thank you, doctor, next bloody door." And she said, No. I said, "Well, what are the symptoms of cancer?" She said, "I'm not going to tell you. You'll be back next week with them." So she was very understanding. And I had actually gastroenteritis at the end of the day, which is a bit of it's from bad food and enzymes and things inside that were bad or not good. But it takes a while because your stomach gets out of sync.
Right.
But after about 2 months, I came back, and I came back actually feeling okay, and I just came back to see her. I said, "Hey, it's gone." She said, "Yeah, there you go." There. But if I'd been that guy, in the end, they would probably have not found anything.
Yeah.
And I would have been 65 grand down and still had these things for gastroenteritis.
Yeah.
You see? So that was another way where they've got pressure, maybe, to push the services of the hotel, of the hospital. No, you see what I mean?
Yeah,
so they're the head of director of whatever, they have their weekly meetings. It's all right, pushing this week, the old Oscar, and something else, and something else. This is what we're pushing. And so,
I just think
I've got a headache.
Margins.
Yeah, well, you need your foot checked because we've got this new. No, go on.
Well, I mean, I look at it let's take it from the private hospitals basis. It's a commercial enterprise. There's no question about that. I mean, like Bangkok, people used to then say, well, the fact they've got a McDonald's in there goes a question mark. Yeah, but it's actually what it is. It's an enterprise.
It's a money-making business.
Yeah, that's right. So it's not just for the patient. It's for the people who are visiting.
Yeah. Well, absolutely.
Right. So look at that.
Good one.
So like the big brands, centipedes, Bangkok, things like that. They've done very well on medical tourism, and it's a big growth area in Thailand. Yeah. So, like any business, they're going to position themselves, and that positioning, price. Some people relate price to the quality, as well. So if, for example, you want to buy gold, you want to buy, Prada, it's going to go, oh, this is really high quality. Buy, something out of Chinatown. You don't have the same brand recognition and confidence. So they are going to charge higher prices for the higher. Maybe it's the specialist doctors, as we're saying, brain surgeons and things, but they are going to charge higher prices. Do you agree with it?
Well,
is it right?
Yeah, and
yes, because you've got a choice of going to the hospital or not.
Correct, but do you think that some of them are morally incorrect at the way they can frighten you into something that they think you probably haven't got, but they want to make the money on it?
Yeah, well, that's just two examples. Yes, I think having a control on drugs is something. I think it should be done, but on the services, it's totally open market.
All right. So this moves nicely into there's in Bangkok, in Thailand. Sorry, mustn't keep saying Bangkok. There's basically private hospitals and government hospitals. Now this is from the site. What site did I say it was from? Because Luma. And this is very non-biased. The pros and cons of.
Well, Luma's a health insurance company, but
which I thought they may be, biased towards some, but they weren't. They told us as is. They said the main factor that separates private hospitals from others is their tertiary care. That's a term that means specialty care. For example, at a high-end private hospital, you will find surgeons that solely specialize in one type of liver surgery, or solely specialize in one type of brain surgery. The only type of surgery these surgeons perform is on that specific organ.
Yeah.
Whereas a heart surgeon at a government hospital may regularly perform over 20 open heart surgeries a month, whereas the ones in private may be 2, plus all the other ones. Livers and everything else. So people might say, right, he is a jack of all trades, master of none again. But these are very good surgeons, and they say that their success rate is as good as any other hospital.
And these same surgeons work in different hospitals.
They have to as well do so much hours in a government hospital. I don't know how many it is, and I'm sure there's ways of getting around it a little bit, but most of them you'll find at a government hospital, for so many hours a week.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. What typically defines a government hospital, so this is a government hospital, is the wait for treatment and the customer service. That takes a knock.
Yeah.
In the way the hospital looks, although you've got one that looks really nice, but we all know, like the Navy hospitals and that, they are making them newer and decorating them, but some of them, they're not the Smithy ways.
And some of them are actually going to the private side as well.
Yeah. Well, government hospitals can be assessed affordably by the entire population.
Yeah.
That's what they're set up for. So there's often a queue.
Right.
Because everybody's going there, because it's good value for money. Patients may have to wait several weeks or even months before they can see a doctor or get a specific sophisticated test. But at least you can get it. So, yes, we'll take a sample. Yeah, we don't know if you've got cancer or not. So you may, whereas you go to Smithy where they say, well, we'll have a result for you tomorrow, I guess. Or something.
Well, I went for all the cancer checks. This is a couple of years ago, or maybe more, and I should actually be going again. Because every male should be going, I think it's every year, every 2 years to get a prostate check. Yeah. In case you've got prostate cancer, which is very common, which is not the most.
I love the way this conversation's going. It's great.
Which is
doom and gloom.
Go on. But my point was, we went to Sue and I went to this hospital. I can't remember where it's quite far away, but it specialised in cancer. They did all the tests, all of the tests, the exception of any for brain. Brain cancer. Yeah. Very few places do a test on brain because it's so expensive. And I think it came to something like 2,500 baht.
Yeah, there we go.
Now, if I went to a private hospital, probably I'm guessing 15,000, 20,000 baht certainly, just for a general checkup. You're talking about 15k.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and that was for cancer. To the point when I was there, I wanted to give a tip.
Well, I mean, you're
and
paying.
It was excellent, but that was government.
At private hospitals,
so knowing where to go. That's
well, you're paying for. There's little wait. What's more, private hospitals typically have better customer service and more polishing-looking facilities. So that's what you're also paying for. When you enter, you'll be greeted, and the staff will generally grant you special attention.
And they'll have someone who speaks English.
Yeah.
But the one you were mentioning before, I go to the Medical Development Clinic. Yeah, it's not a clinic; it's actually a hospital.
What is the difference between a clinic?
Tanon Pradit Panutan Road, yeah, which is off Rama 9, going up to Prachotit, yeah, road. So there's a hospital there on the left, and it's fantastic.
Really?
Really, really
And that's
good.
a government hospital?
Yeah, you know, with work permits, you've got to get your blood tests and things like that. You go there. It's all very efficient. The doctors speak English. They've got an English reception bit. Yes, I'm paying for it. Yeah. So for all the tests, maybe it's, I don't know, something like 1,000 baht or whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's very efficient, and it's government run, so it's not these big expensive hospitals. Where they say, which room would you like? Would you like the plasma TV?
Well, they have suites.
Or is it plasma, LED, whatever
Well,
it is?
yeah, 4K.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have suites as well. So, you know, like Bangkok Rad, they have people coming over from the Middle East and everything else.
Yeah,
private planes or whatever. They have,
tourism,
I mean, the late king, he
have a hotel
passed,
beside it as well for people.
yeah, absolutely, for the relatives and all that.
Yeah, and also if they have to go on convalescence.
But the late king, he died at what hospital was that?
That was a Siriraj Hospital.
Yeah, he had the whole like top, obviously he lived there
And it has
really for years.
It has a great name as well.
Yeah, in the latter part of his life, he stayed there for quite.
Chula Hospital, because it's a training hospital. Chameleon Hospital, which is a training hospital.
We got one by us, by the Laxi, by the Miracle Grand. It's one of the princesses' names, but it's a cancer
Chulabon,
hospital. Is it?
Yes, yeah.
And
cancer
that's right by where I live.
that does an awful lot of research on cancer.
All right.
So yes, there are all these alternative hospitals. It's not bringing down the big names because they're obviously there for a
To make
reason.
money.
But my point is, how can we sort out how do you know if you're getting ripped off for your
Well, they
drugs?
said here, just quickly going back, hospitals accused of overpricing will be asked to lower their charges. Nicely. Otherwise, the department will request patients or affected parties to file complaints about the overcharging to the internal trade department so that legal action can be taken.
Right. Now, I saw an article on this last year, November.
And
this is all to do with, came out at the beginning of April.
Yeah.
Absolutely zippos happened, from what I understand.
so it just looks good on paper and then everything carries on hunky-dory.
Yeah, God, I mean, I expect some of the politicians
Well,
are involved with.
But I'm going to start, you know, next time I go in, if I think I'm overcharged, that's what I'll do. Look, we've gone way over time. I want
Right, I want
two
just
things
quick-
we need to
quick
talk.
things then.
Yeah. People abroad insurance coming here I want to talk about.
Right. First of all, I think that they can set up a compare website. There's lots of compare websites.
Yeah,
Somewhere you can
right.
actually go in and see what the market price for these drugs are, and that is submitted by the manufacturer, and that's part of the reason they can supply. Yeah. So there should be a compare website.
So you get a bag of antibiotics.
No, you get the prescription. You say, right, doctor, be clear on what you're providing.
Yes, but so you get charged at that hospital for that one antibiotic. I mean, one set of antibiotics, 750 baht or something. And then you can look at it, so you then go to this compare website and they'll tell you how much you should be paying for that or how much it costs.
And I think you should get that before you go to the pharmacy. Yeah. So it's printed out, these are the drugs you need. Yeah. Right, and you go, oh shit, that's a lot. Yeah, okay. So, and you go, this is the main meal.
I wasn't that ill.
Yeah. So basically, you can go in and say, da 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 da. What it is giving power back to the consumer. Right?
Yeah.
Now, you know that you're gonna have to go to find somewhere which is actually supplying that. Yeah. This is going to build a whole new market for pharmacies, because pharmacies are going to try and say, we sell this at this price. So you've got a new market now.
Well,
so it's basically but most of the time, if you said it's an extra 100 baht, whatever it is, I'll just get it here. I'm here anyway.
Well, quickly, going back to that lady that sorted my stomach out, I was on very expensive from Sweden. All I remember now is the antibiotic. And I said, this is getting a bit expensive, right? And she said, yes. She said, here we are. And she wrote something in Thai. And she said, go to your local pharmacy. And this is the clone of it.
Yes, that's right.
But she did, so she's a goodie, right?
Well, remember there was a big issue about HIV, and the company was charging so much for the drugs to support it. by the way, from HIV, what now is happening is they think they have a maybe not a cure, but a stabilising effect on it. Yeah, they've brought that out. But what people are saying, we're going to make a generic drug. So, listen, these guys have spent millions on the research and to find the solution. I get they have to make their money. Yeah. But when it was something which was becoming a plague, basically. Yeah?
I think that's when government should step in and say, right, stop. We're going to do it. I mean, why should? Because you've got some money, you can live, and if you haven't got money, you should die. I don't get that.
I agree. There's different sources, but that's life.
I know. What was the other point?
So basically, that means the stores, the pharmacy stores, who are buying this exactly the same drug, and they can mark it out so you can search for this thing. Because I don't believe that you're being forced to. You pay to see the doctor to get his advice and what you should have. I don't.
That's when you should stop if you don't want to go further, because you go to the counter.
That's when they tell us, listen, this is what you should have, because it's the doctor that says this is the drugs you're going to have, and then you should have that. Doctors, nobody can read their bloody writing.
I know, so tell them to write it out clear, or even type it.
So they should be told, right? This is this service. This server includes consultation and solution for drugs. Bum.
And they wouldn't mind you doing that.
And then you get that. The doctors wouldn't, because they don't really care. Or I don't know whether they're on a commission or not on the drugs. But anyway, so they get this. You get this list, and then you take that to the pharmacy, and then they process it. Yeah.
And that would save you
before
money.
you take it to the pharmacy, you go through the list and go, okay, that's fair.
Yeah. Or you go to the pharmacy and say, sorry, we haven't got that one.
So
and
the
that
market
one. Then you have to go
controls
back
the
to
hospitals as opposed to the government.
But you're shuffled from place to place after you see the doctor, and you wait for your number to be called out, and you don't have. By then, they're making up your prescription. So it's when you leave the doctor. I know, and it's all in a lovely little bag. So basically, it's when you've seen the doctor and you've consulted with him, what you got, these are the drugs, let him write it nicely, then you have a decision to make. If you're on insurance, never mind. Save yourself time and effort, and you just go along to their place and go through the normal way. But if you don't, and you want to save some money, you take his prescription and you go yourself to a pharmacy.
And there's another way, if you are insured, which everybody should be, and it comes back to tourist insurance as well, is that generally these insurance companies, they do know the best hospitals for you to go to. People say, yeah, well, send us to the cheapest one. Well, it's not their best interest to send you the cheapest one, because if something goes wrong, it's going to cost them more. Yeah, I know. And they also know where, they actually know the doctors and where they're working and when. Yeah. So, as I understand it, so they know. I speak to them.
Are we going to talk about insurance? So quickly.
Very quickly, insurance. As I mentioned, we're doing one story about Tibet. Yeah, I got insurance for going to Tibet. Yeah, everybody should have some form of insurance. In Europe, if you're a UK or EU citizen, I don't know how long that's going to last, but you can actually get a card which provides you accident insurance, and it's totally free because you're part of the EU. Yeah, in Thailand, if you're visiting Thailand as a tourist, get insurance. There's so many stories out there, and we've covered a few.
Can you? I know. And then they go on that side, give me money. What's it called? I need money.
Crowdfunding.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because you didn't get insurance.
Or they got the insurance, they didn't read the detail of the insurance and what it actually covered. So you can get cheap insurance. As a foreigner here, you don't need to go for the big names. You can go for the smaller names, as MISG or whatever it is, Luma. You can go for AIA. You can go
an AIA, I was on a policy where I can actually, if I die, my wife gets money. Yeah. Or I can cash it in at some. I'd be mad to do it now to cash it in, because this is the time I'll probably be using it. But you can do all that as well. Or when you're on holiday, get that insurance. How much is going to cost you?
Well, when we went to Tibet, we got, it was 1,400 baht. 1,400
Which
baht.
was mainly everything?
Basically for accident you're That's what you're really after. You're not going to get treated for cancer.
Skiing accidents?
Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah. I mean, if I climbed up Everest.
You did. Don't give anything away.
That's a completely different ball game.
Yeah. But all right then. So I think it's just common sense. Yeah. Time is flying by, and this actually works well into the next bit. Shall we? Are you done?
You go. Yep.
You done?
Yep.
You sure?
Yep. Okay.
Well, you know what
And-
oh yeah, he normally does that, doesn't he? You know, like, we've got 1 minute to go. Yeah. And, all right, now this is a sad topic in the sense that someone's died. It was in the papers also last week. A Thai woman dies after a bite from centipede. See the picture of this thing. Now, this is a thing that I've seen in our house, and the whole maid and wife said, well, my wife doesn't like any creepy crawly, even chinchocks, but this
Well,
one...
she married you, so they...
Mind you, I've only got 4,
Yeah.
2 arms and 2 legs.
Really?
So, it depends if I'm happy to see you. Right, and this thing is a deadly thing. No. Everybody thinks it's a deadly thing. It's called here we go, a Scolopendra centipede. Like, there's loads of different centipedes. Right. I think we've got another picture of one. You know, the one that when you touch it or kick it, it curls up.
Yeah, it's more common. Yeah,
yeah, and that they call it in Thai. They call that one a Mang Sen 10 or something. The bug with 1,000 feet. Which, before we stop, just remind me to tell you a joke and we can finish off on a really light-hearted note about that one. Anyway, this one, so a 54-year-old Thai woman in Nakhon Pathom died after she was bitten by a centipede. In Thai, it's called tak hat, something like that. This poor lady was bitten in the right foot and was taken to hospital. There she was given an injection, medication, and sent home to her rented accommodation. Why they bother saying that? Anyway, to recover. Her son said that she had great pain, but she had an evening meal and blah, 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 blah. In the morning she was dead. Died. So the next day he went to rouse and he wants to know if she died from complications of the centipede bite or some other reason. An autopsy has been undertaken at the Siritat Hospital. Oh. So Thai Visa, which the story came from, where this article comes from, notes that these bites from centipedes are not usually fatal in humans. Yeah, so the only way people have died is they have an allergy.
Yes.
Or so the 1 in a million may die because of an allergy or something. So the chances are this lady didn't succumb to the bite of the centipede, but more that she was allergic to it. Yeah. So the hospital totally not to blame. I said on that one.
I mean, I've seen these ones around. Just keep away from them. But I know if you get bitten by them, you get very, very sick.
Yeah, and they said it's extremely. That one I wouldn't want walking over my arm.
No, but I think if you touch it, the hairs.
They immediately go into a defence mechanism. They curl up in a little ball.
Yeah.
A little.
I've seen lots of them.
Snow.
They're actually very good for the soil.
Yeah, they're massive things. They look really horrible though, don't they? And they're plodding away, you know. But even my dog won't go near. So but this one, the big thing, whatever it's called, the old Scolopendra. Always check your shoes and things before you go out. You know, I don't know.
Just don't leave them outside. Put them in a.
Well, even inside, mate.
Cabinet,
but we got hundreds of shoes at our household. Hundreds.
Hundreds.
Well, you've seen them. Yeah, I know. Well, that's not a very nice thing to say about my wife. And so, no, but always check. Because any type of creepy crawly could go in there. Snake can get in there. You know, it's just hibernating away. It doesn't really want to bite you, nor does this one. But you put your foot in and it thinks it's been attacked. Yeah. So there was this quick joke, and we'll finish the segment because we're way over time. So there's a football match in the jungle between the animals and the insects. So they play the first half. And everything's there. It was 0-0. It's great. Second half comes out, and the elephant noticed there was a millipede. And he said, you didn't play in the first half. He said, no, I'm spending the first half putting my boots on. All right, we're coming back with some ClipPix in a moment. Wow, that's hospitals for you. I hope that did some good. So I hope you like that one. And we'll be back in a moment here at Bangkok ChitChat.
Bangkok ChitChat ClipPix.
And here we are again, Bangkok ChitChat, and it's time for ClipPix. First one coming up. Well, I think we'll just play it.
Yeah, okay.
Just play it, and once you've there we go. All right. I think it's cute. Right, I have to admit, when I first saw it, I thought they were real. So I wasn't looking at the legs, right?
Yeah, you've got glasses on, yeah? Very well with that.
Look at the way their head moves when he trots, look.
Yeah.
Look, because that's the way they do it. Look! He can't get on, look. Oh, he tried to get on there.
Imagine these people don't know where to go, yeah?
They haven't done it. We used to do this in a show. First of all, you need green tights and sort of like crawly, bird feet. But they're ever so good. You can have false legs on them, so that it looks like you're riding the ostrich. You know what I'm talking about, right? It's a big feather, and the bridle holds the neck of the ostrich. So when he's talking, the bird turns around and talks to you and looks at you, and it looks like you're not doing it because it looks like you've just got the bridle, but it's stiff.
Who was the guy that used to have the ostrich?
I know the
And
one.
he was in Parkinson.
Yeah. What was his name? Oh,
somebody let us know, please. Just drop us a message because it's going to annoy us. Yeah.
Emu.
It was Emu.
Roy Hull.
Roy Hull. Yeah.
An
all right,
emu.
okay. All right.
I'm sorry to spoil your thunder. Right, the second one. All right, we've all, especially in England, Friday nights, you get on the train, you've had a few beers, it's your last working day, and you just sit down, and sometimes certain stuff happens. And I mean, you would think.
Yo, it's a tough night, eh?
It's a pretty uncomfortable way to go to sleep.
Yeah.
I mean, what was he
want to
thinking?
ask what happens.
Yeah, I mean, really?
How did he fall down there?
How could he sleep?
He could be dead.
It could be. They just filmed it anyway.
No,
It's logged off.
no, it's not dead. It's not dead. Oh, yeah, we're not dead. And the last one is really needs no explanation
I
whatsoever.
love these videos. I
Yeah,
love
and
it.
it's got a commentary on it.
Oh,
So
wow.
So we
Yeah.
just keep quiet here.
Yeah.
You might question the sanity of these two guys who decided to pull off an illegal
'Cause it
urban
starts off,
wingsuit
oh, it's
stunt
great.
in
Like
Rio
sensible,
de
right?
Janeiro.
Yes.
As you can see,
And
the
this
men were
actually
Red
happened,
Bull
right? This is real
wingsuit
footage.
daredevils.
Yes.
They actually
Yes.
successfully
How
threaded
good is
the
that?
needle
Thread
between
thread
two
needling through
skyscrapers
two
in
buildings.
Rio.
Oh.
One of the daredevils attempted to fly by one of Brazil's famous
Everything's
monuments.
normal.
Fortunately for him, that
You do like that. You got a really weird sense of humour.
That's great because it's just that is comedy.
You didn't expect
That is
it, did you?
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
why
yeah.
it's funny.
Yeah. All right,
Okay,
that was
great.
If you like now you can send ClipPix in and all that. I mean, the way to do. How can someone send in
Just
a
send them a
ClipPix to
messenger.
us?
Yeah, you can go into messenger.
So from our
Our
Facebook
Facebook
page,
page, yeah.
Messenger.
Or also put a comment in
On the YouTube or-
on YouTube any way you want. Yeah, we'll see it. And
But I
we'll
think you
reply and
can't
we'll
on
thank you.
YouTube send us anything like clips.
You know, you can just send a URL link. Just copy the link. yeah.
okay, there you go. Earl.
Right. Yeah, you put the URL in.
Put the Earl in, or on the Facebook, you Messenger.
Yeah,
And
messenger.
no one's using that at the
Also
moment.
put it in the comments if you want. Yeah.
Our YouTube channel, Bangkok ChitChat Now. No, Bangkok ChitChat. ChitChat Now is the channel name for YouTube, and the Facebook, ChitChat Now. We've got some good subscriptions coming in. If you've subscribed, thanks really. I mean, it does mean a lot.
Just keep them coming. Yeah.
Well, we do. It's a long road, but
We've
and
got
like and share,
over
of course.
4,000 views. Yeah, just because you see the subscribers doesn't mean it's the people that are actually watching it. But over 4,000 views, and it's growing and growing and growing and growing. Yeah. So we're impressed.
Any
with
input,
it.
any input whatsoever.
And the comments back. We just had a recent one. Where they
I've got it
said-
coming up.
Yeah. Okay. We'll come to that. Okay.
All right. So we're going to come back with What's On, where we're looking at a marathon and a Korean restaurant. You haven't got anything to do on What's On, have you?
No, let's go.
No. Oh, okay. We'll be back in just a moment. Keep it here on Bangkok ChitChat.
Bangkok ChitChat. What's on?
And as the man just said there, it's time for What's On here at Bangkok ChitChat. One that I went to the first one. It's the 20th Amari Watergate Bangkok Charity Midnight Run. It's in a couple of days from now.
All right. Okay.
So, and don't worry about registering. If you haven't, go along to the hotel. You can.
Yeah.
I guarantee they're not going to turn your money down.
Right.
And you'll be able to go. It's the 20th Charity Midnight Run. It's at midnight, obviously. It's a race in Bangkok. It says, again, held at midnight. Yeah, we get it. Offering runners a unique experience of running under the fabulous atmosphere of Bangkok at night. And I've done it, and it is.
Right.
Because there isn't so much traffic, and obviously the police are heavily involved.
Yeah.
Because it's about 4,000 runners they have now, all from all over the world, big ones, stars. But it's not really it's not like the one at 5 o'clock in the morning. Let's go around Lupini Park.
So
And-
when they're giving the water out, do they give beer out instead this time?
well, I reckon they probably do. I reckon you do, because they have Henry J. Beans at the Amari Water game. So you start off at the hotel, end back on the hotel. It's coming up Saturday, 25th of May. The race gives competitors a choice to choose between two distances, 6K and 12, taking place on Peppery Road. You leave the hotel and you enter that. It's 800 baht a go. But
Right.
you imagine, especially, it's probably the coolest time of the day.
Yes,
And the no traffic. There is probably some, I don't know, environmentally not friendly, but who cares?
So did they mention the charities? Or?
Yes, they do. This year, the race proceeds will go to three major charities: the Chalerm Prakyat Royal Highness Princess Sirintorn School in Lamphun, and Bart for a Better Life, and an Amari CSR project dedicated to offering educational opportunities for
Great.
underprivileged children.
That's
So
nice
there we
to
go.
see.
They've raised 4 million baht in the park last year.
That's
4
great.
million baht.
That's good.
All right. The other one, I don't know why I really mentioned it, but Korean. You like Korean food? Like, do you do Korean
Yes.
barbecue?
I like Korean barbecue.
You know what Korean barbecue is?
Yes, it's a barbecue for Koreans. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't barbecue Koreans on it.
They used it. No,
You like Korean barbecue, Jeff,
1950s.
right? Yes, you like it. Yeah, I know exactly. Anyway, I always only know that.
That's not funny.
Apparently, no, it's not. Don't start talking about dogs either. Right, Tonglaw, Soi 10 is a place called. This is a gastro bar, which I didn't know Korean food had a sort of a real high end.
created gas. Yeah.
Yeah, I always wondered that. Why is it gastro? Because it means stomach, doesn't it? Gastro.
Gastro.
So you have a gastro pub and this is a gastro bar.
What's the difference? Like gastro pub and a bar.
I think it's just a matter of what sounds better. I mean, I suppose a
Right.
gastro bar.
So basically, you have a
is-
drink with your food. Yeah.
Yeah, no, because you get mixologists in these gastro places. A gastro bar would have a mixologist. Where all
mixologist?
Yeah, no, serious. I'm not taking a mick here. They're
This is-
proper
what-
bar
What's
people.
a mixologist?
Mixes cocktails. You've never
Oh,
heard of a
right.
mixologist?
No.
Really?
Really.
No,
yeah.
seriously, because it's
Seriously?
been a thing for years.
Yeah. Well, I'm just not as old as you. Yeah.
Well, that doesn't matter. that doesn't matter.
I don't know. Fucking new term in
God,
my
bloody-
modern age.
Jet, do you know what a mixologist is? Oh, shit. Really?
Really?
All right. Anyway,
You're a bit of a foodie, so you know this. Sort
well,
of
this
stuff.
place, okay. It's called Seoul, Bangkok, SUL. Basically, a high-ish and Korean gastro bar serving Korean fusion food alongside well-thought-out cocktails mixed by a mixologist. And they're all made with Korean spirits.
Right.
All right. The partners of this restaurant, yeah, I knew you were going to do that. He's like a child. The partners of this restaurant have taken design cues from respective Korean towns that they've been to and countries all around the world.
Wow.
Dishes, yeah, but this is what I got. Kimchi, you know what kimchi is?
Kimchi, yeah,
I don't
I
know,
like it.
actually. It's fermented pickled veg,
Oh,
you know?
yeah, I've tried
You
it.
don't like it, do
I
you?
don't like it, no.
Of course not. No, you probably don't like cocktails either from a mixologist, right? No. Anyway, kimchi risotto, 320 baht. K-poutine, whatever that is, apparently it's Korean beef in gravy and comes topped with diced kimchi. And then got pork belly with kimchi, seared spam
So the
balls with
speciality
kimchi.
signature dish is kimchi.
Yeah, and you get there and go, sorry, kimchi's off tonight. And then there's special cocktails from a special mixologist using proper Korean spirits. So
Yeah.
anyway, it's high end, and
I
it's,
actually do like Korean food. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I love the barbecue, but I would never go because it's probably out of my price range. But it's everything on Tonglaw now. You go down there, there's some really good pubs and restaurants down there. It is the in place to be seen as well, but it's not cheap.
Right.
Not egg of my own.
That's
or
part
that.
of our What's On. Now, what
Yeah,
else
your
is going on?
What's
Was I'm
The
not sure if you've
movies.
seen it. Very quickly, all the hype about this Avengers End Game. Yeah.
It wasn't about mixologists then. Was it?
And also, everyone, all the younger than me people, have said, it's fantastic. It is a great movie. What would you give it? What would I give it out of 10? 7. Maybe I'm just not a comic guy. Yeah.
Do they still use the music from the original series? Da-da-da-da-da. Oh, no,
Yeah,
that's
but
the
you're talking
same.
about 1960s.
Yeah, with Steed.
Steed.
And
With
Emma
bowler
Peel.
hat and umbrella,
Emma Peel. Yeah, yeah.
God, that's-
Honor Blackman.
I only saw that
She
in
was
the
a
repeat.
poster of her on my door. Sorry?
I only saw that in the repeats.
You're old enough. It came out in 1961, the original
wasn't
series,
born
till
then.
1969.
I wasn't born. Oh my goodness.
Well, when it first came out, I was only 8.
So that's what I was saying. Was
I was
repeat,
only 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So
You had a
anyway,
sword stick as well.
Anyone that hasn't seen it, yes, I would suggest it's going to see it.
3D?
No, it's not. It's 3 hours. Yeah, but actually, it doesn't feel like 3 hours.
Means
It's
it's a good film,
very,
then.
very well done. Special effects are great. So on that basis, I would give it a 9 out of 10. But the story was just it was so predictable. Yeah, I felt. Yeah, and with the exception of the ending, which I won't tell you what the ending is. No.
It didn't involve a mixologist or anything.
No, I didn't know. No.
Okay.
Anyway, go and see it. Another recommended movie I would suggest you
Oh.
see if you like a more traditional style is Clint Eastwood's The Mule.
Seen it, didn't. You didn't
didn't
tell me
like
you're
it?
going to mention it. I saw it yesterday, didn't like it. He's acting like an old didgery man.
Well, he is an old didgery man.
No, didn't
He
like
is
it.
old.
Didn't like it. I like the idea.
Great.
I
I
liked
thought
it.
it
I
was a
didn't
great
like it
movie.
because you told me to watch it, and I did. I didn't know you were going to mention it today.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm not very. I don't like movies really anyway, but I saw half of it and I thought great. The other half, it got a bit too predictable, like too didgery.
Oh, I thought it was good, but I like his style of movies, which is the old-fashioned sort of storyline. Yeah, there's a logic, but you don't know what's going to happen.
It's about an old guy that gets tricked into being a drug mule, basically.
Yes,
All right.
yes.
Okay. Thank you very much for a couple of people here. Well, I'd like to say a big hello to Norapon. She's so far got through to us on our Facebook Messenger. Mm-hmm. She's a plane and a train spotter.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Anime lover, a Bollywood lover, a Mr. Bean lover. I'm maybe thinking of getting her on the show. If she says she can speak some good English, because I reckon those are pretty unique things here in Thailand.
Yes.
Well, especially train spotting and plane spotting. So we'll try and get her on.
Yes.
So Kun Norapon, thank you very much.
We'll be in contact
And
with you.
we will be in touch with you. Also, someone who's stalking me now, big shout out for Chef Yan. He's a really good guy. And he sent me a picture of his restaurant, and there's all cameras everywhere, and he was doing interviews. So,
Yeah.
and then something about the chef, the Iron Chef or something, Thailand or whatever. It was,
It's an Italian restaurant he's got.
He's got an Italian eatery on Ratchet Soy 7.
Yes, yeah.
So we'll keep in touch with him because we may be doing something on the cookery.
And
front.
also thanks to Mike Moore for complimenting us on having a funny but also interesting show.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All these little comments are always very much appreciated.
We are trying. It may not appear so, but we do. Right. And coming up in future episodes of Bangkok ChitChat.
Okay, so we mentioned that we'd interviewed Simon
And the Rev.
and the Rev. So basically,
Coming up.
Simon Matthews, we've already done he's a country manager of Manpower, and also he was the chairman of the British Chamber for 4 years. So we got an interview with him about recruitment, and also we had Tim's interview, the Reverend of Christchurch. So have that. And coming up, is we're doing a special on my Tibet trip. So watch that. That's coming up next week.
It was going to be like Tibet v Songkran, but Songkran's a thing of the past now. But I've just got one little
And it's
story
just taking
about
a bit,
how I do it.
bit
so.
longer to do all the editing, etc. of it. So
Yeah.
so that's coming up. So that's really it for
That's
this
it.
week.
Yes, that is. That's been a full-on show today. I hope you
Yes.
enjoyed it, and have a nice week, and we'll see you next week. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
okay.
Bangkok
Bye.
ChitChat. Bye.